Alright, so I'm doing a honey Weizen today. There's the grain. You'll me in the description. I'm not going to read through it all this time. And I'm just putting the grain, measured it out, and pouring it into the bucket. I get that done a little early on in the week. Split up my brew day a little bit that way. And time to mill it up. You don't need a mill. If you're a new home brewer, you can buy your grain already milled, or if you have a homebrew shop, you can mill it there and even double milled if you want. Adding some rice hulls here so I don't get a stuck sparge. I'm using distilled water. You can, if you're a new home brewer, you don't have to use distilled water. You can literally just use spring water from the store. And you don't need to use a fancy all-in-one electric system like I have here. You can use a pot on the stove. If you're a new home brewer, don't spend a ton of money if you're just new to this. So, salts. So if you're doing distilled water, you have to add back salts and minerals to the water. And I'm mashing in here. I like to use this drill paddle attachment. It's stainless steel, food grade. It's super quick and it gets all the dough balls out. Obviously, that was quick here on the video, but it finished already mashing for an hour, so now I'm draining the main grain. Always tough on this system because it's heavy and hard to lift out of there. This is just a defoaming agent. Again, if you're a new home brewer, you don't need it. And I don't really need it here either. It's just to help with not getting a boil over. Honestly, though, the small batch I'm doing would boil over anyway. Showing that recirculation. Here's the first hops, Mountain Hood hops for 60-minute edition. I do, I put them in before the boil. This is second edition going in. Can't remember if that's the same type of hop or not, but here's the promised honey, raw and unfiltered. Honey goes in after you turn off the element, or you're going to scorch it. Drain the hops. I use a metal ruler to set it on. I stole that idea from somebody. Transferring the wort to the fermenter that's been sanitized. If you don't have a pump, you can use gravity to transfer your wort. You can even use Home Depot buckets for your fermenters. Don't spend a fortune on fermenters if you're new to home brewing. Just get what works for now. Adding some yeast nutrient, always a good idea. And same idea with this. I'm aerating with the drill paddle. A little different paddle. It's a degassing paddle, but it works really good to add oxygen in there. Floating dip tube, because I will serve directly out of this vessel, because I can also pressure ferment in this. Use it as a keg as well. Getting ready for the yeast here. Some kind of log yeast. I can't remember what I used. I lost my paperwork, so it's a purple yeast. We're going to call it purple because the color of the package. Just prepping my star sand here to clean things and sanitize. This is just hot water going into the... Well, this is a different fermenter, but it's going into a fermenter that has been cleaned, and now it will be sanitized. Alright, so for the star sand, you have to dilute it. I'm just pouring it into a measuring cup so I can like pour the excess back into the bottle. I use a little syringe I got on Amazon. 6 milliliters per gallon. I'm doing 2 gallons there, so I'll need about 12 milliliters. And it's the easiest way to measure it, to be honest. There you go. Squirt. And then pour the excess back in, so, you know, every little drop saves you money. It ain't that cheap. So there's the star sand in the fermenter, in the kegerator. Turning on the gas. Just a few PSI to push it. Push it real good. I had to do it. That's getting the beer out of line right there. That was in there, you know, in the lines. And now I'm going to take the clean sanitizer that's coming through, and I'm going to recapture it and put it into different spray bottles here. And that way I can use it later on if I need to for different things, including cleaning around the house, believe it or not. tip. Hey, there's the beer. It's all ready. It's been there for a month. It's done. It's ready. Move it into the kegerator that's now clean and sanitized. Turn on the pump or the CO2 again with a beer on it, and I'll leave it for a week at like 12 psi to carbonate. And there we go. All right, y'all, you made it to the end here. This is actually the second time I'm recording this. To start off with, I lost the paperwork somewhere for this. It's going to show up like in 6 months. Be like, oh, that's where I put it. But anyway, let me move the mic a little. Or I guess I can move a little closer here. I feel like I'm too far away. So anyways, the second time I'm recording this because first time I recorded it, it didn't taste great. The beer sort of had a very acetaldehyde flavor to it. It's like a green apple sort of off flavor, usually from stressed yeast. Although this yeast shouldn't have been stressed at all, so it's odd. But also the carbonation was pretty flat, and I realized that my kegerator, maybe I bumped it or something, but the temperature wasn't set very cold on it, even though it tasted perfectly cold to me. But I bumped up the I bumped up the temperature, bumped down the temperature, I guess I should say, to a colder temperature, and gave it another week to see if I could get more carbonation out of it. Head retention's great, but there's a ton of wheat in this, so you'd expect that. I'm just looking to see if I can see carbonation. It's a little hard to tell. I mean, there's definitely carbonation. I just can't see it very well. I also should be very near the end of my keg, but I did confirm it is under pressure, so it does have CO2. The numbers real quick. 1053 was the original OG. The original gangster. Final gravity 1009, giving it like a 5.9% ABV. I had that written down on some tape because, like I said, I lost the paperwork. I gave it another week. So I recorded this for you guys a week ago, and since it didn't smell good and the carbonation wasn't good, I decided to just scrap that last tasting and wait another week and bump the coldness down a little bit more. It definitely still smells like acetaldehyde off flavory sort of business going on. Yeah, could be the yeast. I can't remember what yeast I used, but it could be the yeast that's caused it. Nice and hazy like it should be. Let's see if the carbonation at least is there. Yeah, there's more carbonation for sure. So I think chilling it down and giving it an extra week. I've also heard that sometimes a week, even though the standard is kind of put it at like, say, 12 psi for a week and let it sit and it should be carbonated in a week, it doesn't always fully carbonate in that week. So giving it a couple weeks to really fully carbonate. It's colder. I can tell it's colder than I usually have it. So better carbonation. Very off flavory. Yeah. So that didn't turn out good. It has to be the yeast. Who knows? Anyway, it happens. I still post these videos because I just want to make sure I point out that you can homebrew for 30 years and still end up having beer where something happens that you can't even pinpoint, but it causes like an off flavor. Everybody has their opinion. I'll get comments. Oh, it could have been this, or it was probably that. Who knows? It could be. It could be a million things. But I definitely ferment this under specific temperature. I have freezers set to keep the temperature. So fermentation was good. Oxygenation was good. I'll have to go back and look at the paperwork I have online. Or while I'm editing this, I'll see it, but I'm trying to remember even what yeast I used for this. I think it was some kind of, I don't know if I used like a Bavarian yeast or something, but maybe I just use SO5 for all I remember. I just don't remember. But that could be part of it. It could be a yeast issue. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm happy that the carbonation has increased and I've kind of resolved that problem. And I have another beer fermenting that's always turned out good. So fingers crossed, the next one is going to be quite good. All right, I'll be back in another week with another video. Thanks for hanging out and watching the whole thing. And I'll see you soon. As always, and I mean this, keep on homebrew. Cheers.